What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Not Influence Show. This is a Crooked Hat production, and I'm Donnie, and we're filming here at Alpine Ford on Highway 50 in Pueblo, Colorado. If you're in the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle, come see one of our sales associates, and they'll get you taken care of. Tonight, I got a special guest, longtime racer and announcer at Pueblo Motorsports Park, Larry Meyers. What's up, Larry?
Hey, good evening, everybody. It's good to be here.
What's going on, Larry?
Oh, my God, this is so special.
It's special. It's very special.
I'm going to be on the interwebs.
I've been trying to get you on here for a little bit. I'm glad you made it down.
I had to come down for this one. Well, we don't have anything this weekend to race, so
Nope.
I didn't waste a trip, put it that way.
Nope. So you kind of got two things at once with this trip too, right? You sold your old
the old blue scooter. The old trusty blue scooter. Kim Gauger bought it out there. I put it out on Facebook the other night. Within 5 minutes, it was gone. Yeah. And I had two backups, so I'm a salesman too. So I'm selling scooters.
Nice.
So I delivered that, and it's like, heck yeah, we'll do this. That made it even better. So yes, it's good to be down here.
Yeah. So what else has been going on?
Oh, the same old stuff, working at home, and obviously at Pueblo.
Yeah.
And the schedule. The next things, we got Vintage coming up, which is way cool.
Yeah, they'll be racing with the Point Series on July 5th and 6th.
Yep, July 5th and 6th. That ain't that far away. We're almost into July, as a matter of fact.
That's a big thing.
Yes. I got a racer up the street that I'm trying to tutor to do that. He's got a 53 Chevrolet pickup truck he's putting together. And I never noticed it before. We was talking about the engine in this thing. It's like, I'm looking at this engine. I said, where did that engine come from? It came out of a front engine dragster. It's an inline 6-cylinder Chevy motor.
Nice.
With a Crawford high-rise intake on it I have never seen, with 3 two-barrel carburetors on this. 11.5 to 1 compression engine, cam in it, out of a Corvette, valves in it, all kinds of cool stuff. And I said, you got to bring that down to Pueblo.
Is he talking about doing it?
Oh, yeah, I'll get him down here.
Cool. So I was going to ask you, what did you think of the first Rocky Mountain Streetcar Series
Oh, that
race?
was a hoot. I mean, it was at first we had to get into a rhythm because we had 15 classes. Because, we had high school and junior street. But it worked out fine.
And we added motorcycle at the end.
Yeah, we rolled right through it. I mean, we had to stay out there and just kind of keep things fluid. But once we got going, it got to eliminations, duck soup. We went right through it.
You helped get things going by being in staging and announcing during the test hits.
What else did I have to do?
Things going.
Gave me something to do. Get some fresh air out there.
Sounds like we're going to have a lot more cars at the next one, July 19th.
Nice.
Is the next one for that series.
Nice.
And what did you think about the Steel City No Prep? How do you feel about that series?
I always like Steel City No Prep. I can't tell the fans enough. I said, this is a different form of drag racing. You're not going to see reaction times put up. You're not going to see any times put up. None of this stuff. You're just going to see whoever's got the most, let it eat. It's just one of those things. They just throw it on the ground.
Right.
And it's just a cool concept. But going back to the streetcar thing, the thing that I like is index racing. That's the thing right now. I've been going, other tracks around the country have brought that back. Mm-hmm. And I believe that NHRA might have been going to do it. We did it last year at the finals a little bit.
Yeah, they're going
It's a great little thing. I mean, it's a great little class, but, it's not the same as Steel City. No problem. Those guys are out of their minds. Yeah. I always make the joke, they don't spend any money on paint. It's all motor, and it just goes. And there's some extremely fast cars out there when you look at it. I mean, on a no prep, which and by the end of the night it actually kind of semi-prep, because once they put down a black track, everybody eats on that a little bit.
Right.
By the end of the night, they're just using the track up. It's a great concept. I think it's caught on pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it works well.
We have some really good drivers that race on Steel City No Prep.
Yeah, John Jacobs. I'll throw him out there. Yeah. Joey Anton. Yeah. I mean, that Mustang, it's kind of a trick Mustang. You look at the front bumper and there's a bow tie on the front of that front bumper on that Mustang. Yeah, it's not, me being who I am, it's like, you did that. But they're flying machines. It's insane. And then there's the RX-7.
Hayden Wilson.
Hayden Wilson. Yeah, he's just a dark horse. He comes out of nowhere in the last one we had and wins the whole thing. It's like, where'd he come from?
Yeah.
He was throwing it down.
Yeah.
There's some.
The last one of the first race of this year, he won.
You could hear that. You could hear them cars in Pueblo West because a friend of mine, he lives out there. You can hear them clean out in Pueblo West when they go down there.
So I know you're a trivia guy. So I'll give you a little bit of trivia about one of the racers that you just mentioned, Joey Anton. Do you know he's the only person to have won 2 classes in one night, and he's done it twice?
He did it the other night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlimited and small tire, and he did it, I think, last year.
He got 2 hats.
The year before. Yep.
You got some fast unlimited hats.
You know, the class I'm really liking that limited street class.
Yes.
That's an interesting class.
The key word is street.
I know.
They got to do the cruise, get out there. They're street legal. And this time I kept the math right.
Yeah.
I had to take my shoes off to get to 15, but that's beside the point.
Yep.
I made him do. And that was the hottest day. It was a booger. I mean, it was 102 out there, and the wind was blowing. The wind was blowing very hard.
Smart move of us pushing that time back, and then we pushed it back even a little further.
Yep. But I mean, Steel City No Prep. Any of the no preps we've had are great. I wish the word would get out more that more spectators would come in because inherently ET racing that we do, points racing, a little bit boring. You don't get a lot of fans, but no prep is right in front of them. Yeah. It's just crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of noise, a lot of smoke, a lot of interaction of the race peeps, as I call them out there, the groupies out on the starting line. Yeah. It's a great thing. Actually, we have more people on the starting line we do in the stands. And,
a lot of people buy the starting line pass instead of the regular spectator.
They're out there just, it's like cool. And that's what's nice about the sport because now you've just moved right in and you're part of it. I mean, you're 10 feet away from a 1,000 horsepower car and it's just barking at you. You can feel that.
Oh, yeah.
When they leave, you can feel that.
For sure.
It's a good concept. I don't know how long it'll last.
This is our 4th year doing it, and it's gotten bigger every year.
Yeah. Drag racing in a whole, any track you go to, they're going to tell you the same thing. It's not growing a lot, but it's still there. It's kind of plateaued. It hasn't peaked and just kind of plateaued. Biggest interest is I see is young individuals getting interested in the sport. It's just not quite there. Even like our high school, we need to build on that some.
I'm pretty excited that we have a decent-sized junior street class for our first year of doing junior street in a long time. So hopefully those kids fall in love with it and stay with it through high school and go on to race either heads-up racing or bracket racing or both.
Either one.
Yeah.
Or you could throw the name of Eric Enders out there and they just go on to be a pro stock champ or something like that. Yeah. They just grow on through junior dragster on up. We've had, it's happened.
Yeah.
It's happened right here in Pueblo in the past.
So I'm glad you came on. I'd like for you to, I don't know that everybody knows your background of, what you did before you became an announcer at Pueblo and, how you started racing and all of that. So I was hoping you'd share a little bit about your background and what got you to racing at Pueblo. Yeah.
Well, it's quite simple. When I graduated from high school, Dad says 2 things are going to happen. You're going to get a job and you're going to buy yourself a car. Well, I got out of high school, graduated from high school, got a job, bought a car. And my first car was a 65 Plymouth Belvedere, 2-door hardtop with a R block in it. Not an RB block, or just a B block, not an RB block. It was a 361. So I thought, okay. And that was 1967. We were at the pinnacle. I mean, it was at the peak of muscle car then. It was going up and up and up. We hadn't got to the top yet, but it was just exploding. There was drag strips, and I was raised in the Midwest, northern Illinois, and there was drag strips everywhere. Big name drag strips everywhere. So I decided, I got to try this because I seen the neighbors, they all had cars parked, and, I'd see them, and they'd drive around on the street every once in a while and play a little bit and got in my head. So I thought, okay, I'm going to take this thing to the drag strip. So I went down to Byron Dragway, which is in Byron, Illinois, still in business this day.
Right.
I want to say it opened in 65. Don't quote me on it, maybe 65. Old Ron Leake. He's a legend. NHRA, IHRA, he's been them all. Anyway, went to the drag strip, And back then it was class racing, so engine weight,
right,
like NHRA would do it. At the time, it was an NHRA track, and I got into some class with that car. And lo and behold, I ended up winning the class. So now I get a trophy.
right.
Oh, my God, Donnie. The hook was set. It was like, oh, not just going to do this the rest of my life, I can tell you. So then it just, I had this.
So how old were you at that time, did you think?
Oh, 18.
18?
18 years old.
Yeah.
Straight out of high school.
Yeah.
Then I had to take a little bit of a hiatus there because I had some military service I had to do. Then I got out of the service and had a few bucks in my pocket and went down to the local Chrysler dealer.
Mm-hmm.
And I got myself a 1970 Super B 4-speed car. And by the way, the 65 was an automatic. Everybody says you can't race an automatic. Well, we proved that's wrong.
Right.
And I got the 4-speed Super B car and had a race it. You got to take it drag strip. By this time, it's 1970. Oh, right. My God. It's the peak now. There's just, you name it, you could order it. And we had some of the biggest names in the country. Nicky Chevrolet, Chicago. Mr. Norm's down the street.
Right.
And we had drag strips, US 30, Great Lakes, Byron, Cordova. We had, within a 50-mile radius, we probably had 6 or 7 drag strips.
Yeah, that's a
And
lot.
anyway, so on we went with that. Then I got married the first time, and the Super B went away. And I decided, well, I needed to get a family-friendly car because the oldest daughter came along.
Right.
So I bought this Duster car, and it was just a little car. I didn't race that one. But then, this ain't good enough for me. So
Right.
I had to go buy another Duster. So this time I got the 340 Duster. Oh, yeah. We were putting that back down the drag strip. That little sucker was nice. It was fun. Anyway, did that, and then I moved around a little bit. And then in the middle of all that drag racing, I decided, you know what? I like motorcycles too. Mm-hmm. So I raced AMA motorcycle. I started out motocross and said, I can't do this. I'm going to kill myself. Right. So I did hare scrambles and enduros for 12 years. So I had 12 years of dirt bikes in there too. Nice. And then I decided, I better put some iron back around me. So I went back into it. I'm always had, in the big car anyway, a Chrysler product. Sorry, Ford guys. I'm sorry, Chevy guys. But, you're all right. But I'm a Mopar guy. So
I don't think a lot of people know about your motorcycle days.
Oh no, I actually had a couple drag bikes too. Oh my God, what a hoot! I mean, you're right in the environment. Then you feel everything, and that was a little too crazy, I think.
You have a granddaughter that races.
Yes, she came out to Pueblo, raced on the road course. That's my oldest granddaughter, and she actually took it down the drag strip too.
Yep.
I was so proud of her. She's still got a motorcycle, but she hasn't raced it lately. But yeah, right. And my son, he raced the Challenger. He was one of the few that ever driven it, and he set a record at Pueblo that took me 12 years, 13 years to beat.
Really?
Yeah. He set a, I think he went a 11:39, something like that.
And the one that you sold to Bill?
Yep.
Nice.
Then I kept going, and then finally got the motor in it that I had when I sold it, and I went like an 11:37 one day when the weather conditions were just right.
Did you do that at a Family Feud race?
No, It would have been before Family Feud, I think.
Okay.
Family Feud. That was 1150 car then.
Right. Yeah.
It was dead on 1150 car.
Right.
The other night when we did the 1150 index race, I was just all about that. I said, man, I could kill this because I have at home from Family Feud, I had an 1150 time slip with a 0 backup. I mean, it was 1150 with a 0, and I just showed the boys. It's like, yeah. And I got a couple of them trophies at home, too. Yeah. You need to bring that back. That was fun. Of course, now Streetcar Series is, it's the same thing. Yeah. It's just a different name. Yeah. It's just a different name. It's great, though. But over the years, moved around the country. I went to St. Louis for a while, and I raced at Gateway down there when they called it Gateway. It was brand new, by the way.
Right.
Gateway was brand new. That would have been in the 80s. And that was the drag bike thing. Mm-hmm. So I did a little of that. That was kind of fun. And then I took a job in D.C., lived in Virginia, And that's when I decided I always wanted, Donnie, always wanted an E-body car. Mm-hmm. When I bought that Super Bee on that showroom floor, there was an AAR Cuda sitting right there. $4,700. I said, that's too much money. I can't afford that. Back in 1970, $4,700 is a lot of money.
Right.
AAR Cuda, that's still etched in my mind. I see that beautiful car there.
Right.
346 barrel car. It was AAR Cuda was a race. It was a road race car, drag car, but it was sitting there. I didn't buy that.
Right.
I always wanted an E-body. Finally, out in Virginia, I found one literally in the woods. It was parked out in the woods. I found this guy that had some. We pulled it home, took it to my garage, and I tore it all apart and rebuilt it. Put a 340 motor in it. It was okay. I painted it. Purple, and because my Super Bee was purple, inviolate if you care, or plum crazy, whatever day you want to call it. And I did that. And that was an automatic car. I brought that out here, and I never liked the way the thing turned out. I just didn't like it. So when I moved out here in 1991, I sold it. I didn't like it, so I sold it, but I found another one in Colorado Springs. And that one lasted me 30 and a half years.
So that's the one.
Yeah, it's the one. And guess where it's at?
Where's it at now?
Colorado Springs. I went back to Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
Car dealership.
Danny Roberts.
Yeah.
Buddy bought it, right?
Yeah, it was Danny Roberts' boss. Mm-hmm. He owns a used car dealership in the Springs, and he bought it. And Donnie, I don't ever want to see that car again, because you know as well as I do, they put some bling bling wheels or some crap on that thing.
I don't know.
No. It ain't one. That car was. It was an easy car. Mm-hmm. You just drove it. And I always tell a story from Great Bend, Kansas. I was WWS. We was out there racing, the group of us. I was getting in the car for a round, and a local young fella, came up to me, and I was in a hurry, so I was kind of short with him. And he says, I don't hear you shifting that car. And I just kind of, in my own fast way, I just says, well, I don't shift it. And I said, and then I got done at the end of the night, and I felt bad about it. I found him. I said, let me explain what I meant by that was. I had that set up, and this is Andrew's Racing Transmissions, by the way, out of Parker. Mm-hmm. There's a cheap plug. Everything I ever did in that car, because I tried everything else, I just did it in drive. I put the car in drive. The transmission was just lethal, and it was the quickest it ever went, just put it in drive. Let the car do it, and a lot of guys in ET racing can do this. Just let the car do it, and then you got the driver. That's the problem, is the driver. You got to cut a light, run a number, and you know how that goes. Yeah. But it was just, once I, got the transmission, all the good parts in it, what have you, it was just put it in drive. So I told this young man, I said, okay, let me explain. I said, I do everything in drive. I come up to the starting line, it's in drive. I let that transmission do its thing. It shifts way the heckin' going up there anyway.
Right.
And he says, well, that's kind of cool. I said, yeah. Because you couldn't hear it shift.
Right.
He said, boom, boom. It was just gone. And torque flight's torque flight. They're pretty dang. With good parts in them, you ain't going to break them. But yes, so now I'm in the early 90s out here, and my original Challenger, the one I have for 30 years, it had a 340 in it. Didn't like that. It was also an original 318 car with a 3-speed on the floor. So it was a manual transmission. You can't race a 3-speed manual. It just doesn't work. It's a road car. Now I could have drove it all day to the GQ. Mm-hmm. So I decided, first time I got it back together, and great story. I was out of town, and we'd had the body work done and painted. And you know what color it was?
Yep.
Kind of greenish.
Yeah.
Well, it was supposed to be Winchester gray metallic. Gray. But that green, how in the heck they ever came up with it? It was a pretty color. I was okay with it.
Right.
But it wasn't gray. And the wife goes, I was in Utah working, and calls me up, and I wanted her to go to the body shop and see it because it was done. He told me it's done. Right. So she goes over to the body shop, calls me back, and she says it's green, and I'm dying. I'm thinking Kelly green, like, oh my God, grass green. So I get home, and it's like, well, that ain't so bad, because at night, technically, it kind of got close to the color. But it ended up being a Ford Aerostar paint. Somehow they got the number wrong, mixed it wrong, but it was, I mean,
it looked good.
That was a 30-year-old paint job on it. Clear coated, of course. Base coat, clear coat.
Yeah.
It looked beautiful. And, I got a lot of compliments on it. The day I drove it home from the body shop, way cool. Mm-hmm. I get down to Franktown because I got to have some fuel.
Right.
And I'm out there fueling this thing, and young fella comes running out of the gas station. Man, that is a beautiful looking Camaro. It's like, because I didn't have the grill or nothing in it, I'm just dying.
Right.
Yeah, I never told him. It's like,
let him have it.
No, I couldn't do that.
Right.
They do. If you look at the original E-body, I have a book on that at home. The clay model looked just like a Camaro until they added that body line. That little kick out on the back end looked just like a Camaro because they let the Camaro come out first to see if it sell before they built the E-body. And the E-body came out in 1970.
Right.
Well, 67-ish was Camaro. And they said, now we can sell a pony car.
Right.
And hence, in 70, you could get a Cuda, and then you could also get a Barracuda.
Right.
And don't try to trick me on that one because it doesn't work. Somebody says, I got a 73 Cuda. I said, no, you don't. You got a Barracuda. But anyway, yes, it turned out to be a pretty nice car. Mm-hmm. And kids always make jokes about it. He says, you got more pictures of that car than you do of us, don't you? I said, yep.
That's funny.
Easy peasy. But, things come to an end. And I know what you're leading into. What you led into is how I ended up being the long-winded announcer of Pueblo Motorsports Park.
Yeah, when did you transition from racer to announcer of Pueblo Motorsports Park?
Well,
how did that happen?
This is going to go back to Fast Motorsports when Judy was there. I gotten hurt at home, building a porch for the wife on the front. I stepped into a window well and tore my left leg up, tore a tendon off my quadricep. So I had to be put back together. And doctor says, you ain't ridden in that race car. No, you can't drive. It's like, and I was jonesing. So I went up to the tower and says, I can't race, but you don't have an announcer. So I thought, what the hell, I'll give it a try. Well, now, that's why I sold the race car, because I couldn't race the race car anymore, but that's how it all began. And I look back, and that's 3 business groups now that I've worked for.
Right.
Because, that the Meads were in there, and now you guys, South Prairie.
And I worked for the Meads, too, in Lanier.
Yeah.
So between them and the current South Prairie and O'Neill, that's 10 years right there.
Yeah, and I got 10 years. Me and you's got about the same time.
Plus whatever you've got from Judy.
Yeah, well, Judy was, I don't know.
Was it a year or two that you announced, or?
At least.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
That was, and I raced with Solution Management also, and the city, and, the original PMI.
With Jay Gilman.
I don't know what the first date I came down here. It had to be the middle of the 90s, maybe. What got me going was I used to drive drive the car up to Bandimere Speedway to race in their Club Clash. So I just drive up there, and I was
Friday night.
Yeah, Mopar, the Rocky Mountain Mopar Club, RPM Club, and I'd go up there, and Bill Hatton would see me driving that thing up on 470, and he'd be pulling his car because he raced for some club too. Right. He finally got with me once, and we'd moved on from that, and and he says, "You need to come down to Pueblo," and Jeff Cox was here,
right.
Terry and all of them, Cleve and all of them, because they lived here, and I came down here, and it was a different feeling,
right?
Bandimere's one thing. It's a beautiful place. Was a beautiful place. I have to preface that, right? It was a beautiful place. But when you pull into Pueblo, it was like just a different feeling. You just parked, in an open area, and you was just kind of relaxed and not quite as structured, I guess would be the way to put it. And I came down here, and I had raced Club Clash and did pretty good up there for them, and I'd moved on to King Street. So now I was running King Street up there and down here both. I was running both. I did okay in King Street. It was a very tough class up there, by the way. Brutal.
I bet.
So now I'm down here to Pueblo racing Sportsman because the car was. I actually had to run a mechanical throttle stop on it, Actually, it was a block of wood underneath the accelerator. Just a piece of block of wood with Velcro on the back of it, because I couldn't go past 1250. I was by far the fastest car in the class, and they used to kind of give me grief about that. And but I said it's legal, and so I raced Sportsman. Did good.
They gave you grief about the wooden block?
Oh yeah, the throttle stop. I said, "You want me to take it out and show how fast the car really is?"
Yeah,
because it went from it was at that time it was just maybe a 12.0 car,
right.
But you couldn't go that fast, 1250.
Right.
So I put it in and it worked perfect. It was just perfect. Anyway, I raced Sportsman for a while down there, and then one year I got lucky enough to win the championship, and I want to say I won the championship by maybe 2 points. It was very close, very close. Went down almost the last round, and it was Dan Hessler that had the opportunity to take me, and he didn't. And I remember that. I don't know if he's around anymore or not. Maybe he is. Anyway, okay, so now I'm decided. I've won the championship in Sportsman. I'm not going to stay there.
Right.
I'm done dealing with Joe Herman. That guy is brutal. He'll beat you 7 ways to Sunday. I mean, It's just wicked.
Yeah.
Many years ago, I made him a target out of a piece of paper and put it in his car. That piece of paper is probably still in the backseat of that Mustang. Yeah, he's that old. But anyway, I said, okay, Donnie, I'm going to move on to Pro ET.
Right.
Oh, my God. I got my back handed to me in Pro. I couldn't win a bye in Pro.
Right.
It's like these guys are crazy over here. And I finally had to figure it out. There again, cut a light, run a number, win the race.
Right.
And my arch nemesis to this day, and we always joke about it, Randy Kelly. Randy Kelly kill you. That damn dragster he had, the old blue one, the non-Land Shark, the old.
Right.
He'd just kill you. He'd just take it to you. And
Randy's good people.
I run it up to him in a championship. He won, and I was second place one year somewhere. I got a trophy to prove that too, but that's beside the point. But then we had the King Street program. Did good in that because it was more my thing, I guess.
Right.
So I got that. Now that was number 2, and I think I know I did. I won King Street twice, so I've got 3 championships, which is nothing, absolutely nothing. Randy Kelly's got 14 or 15, but I had the honor of racing there and doing that and having a lot of fun. But then when I got hurt, it was like, okay. And, and then I decided, even when I wasn't hurt, you can't race and announce. It doesn't work.
Yeah, that'd be
it was too much running back and forth. So
yeah, that'd be a tough one to race and announce at the same time.
So now here sits the Challenger in the garage, just collecting dust, and I clean it and back it out and make the neighbors nuts and just in and out of the garage. And finally, one day, Bill hadn't made me a deal. He says, I want to buy that car. We'd talked about it years before. Finally made a decision. And, Bill bought the car. And I said, here's the deal. You got to take the car and all the parts. Yeah. Easy. Well, we had about 3 pickup truck loads plus his trailer and his pickup truck load of parts because over 30 years, you can collect some stuff.
Right.
I could have put another car together probably.
Right.
And I sold it to him, and he worked on it. And I wish he never got it tuned to where he wanted. But Bill, it was just a little too much for him. And he said that.
Yeah.
And he said, no, my reactions, we're not young anymore. Right. Simple as that. Right. So he decided he's going to sell it, and that's how it ended up in Colorado Springs. And you got yourself an announcer.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I think that most people that come to the track, when you're gone, I'll say stuff like, hey, you guys got to put up with me for a minute because Larry's not back from Texas yet or whatever. But, and I know sometimes I give you a hard time, but I love you, man.
Oh, you got to be thick-skinned in that business.
You know how it goes at the track.
Yeah. It gets a little heated at times. So once in a while we get a little, how should I say, excited.
Yeah. But you're definitely one of the reasons that I'm still there, and I wouldn't want to do it with anybody else.
Nah, it's been an honor for me to do it because I always tell people all the bitching and moaning I did as a racer, and trust me, there was some bitching and moaning at times, especially with certain people up in the tower, and this is payback. Now I've got all that in my memory bank up here, and it's like, then you hear, no matter where you go, by the way, no matter what racetrack, anywhere in this country you go, you hear the same racer input. It's all the same lyrics. The accent might be a little different, but it's always the same. It's like, I've heard that before.
That brings me to a good point that maybe a lot of people don't know. But when you guys go traveling for the winter, you're still announcing a couple times while you're gone, right? You announce at some other tracks.
I try to do a tune-up. I got to. I just can't sit, in a RV park for 4 or 5 months and do nothing. And I've got carte blanche down at Edinburgh. I can always go down there. The problem is this time it was 250 miles away, but it's just mileage. I rented a car and poof, down I went. And yes, it is nice.
You said you have a lot of fun there, right?
Oh my God, it's a hoot.
Yeah.
I mean, there again, it's a different environment because now you are in very, very, very southern Texas. You're like 25 miles from the Mexican border. So their clients come over that border from 125 miles down into Mexico, come up here to race. So obviously there's a little language barrier there, but it's no big thing. You deal with it. And it's amazing what you see come out of Mexico. Them guys got some damn nice cars down there.
Right.
And trucks are king down there. Oh my God, the trucks are just brutal down there. But, and then I've had the honor, actually and the privilege, to announce for WDRA, IHRA, and NHRA. So I've done all 3 sanctions. And I was just like, they're all the same. They're just all the same. And I should say, I want to put it in there, this last winter down at Edinburgh, that was their Ironman race.
Right.
They were doing chassis search that day, which you do, by the way.
Right.
If you need your chassis search, my man Donnie, he'll fix you up.
Yep.
The vice president of drag racing for IHRA was there, Alan Reinhardt. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. He was the voice of NHRA for 30 years. And I'm saying, this is the man. So I went over and introduced myself and got along. He comes up in the tower and I said, Alan, you got to announce. I just handed him the mic and let him go. Yeah. What a natural. He just fell into it. But since then, I'm not sure what happened, but I don't think Ryan Hart's with IHRA anymore. I think he went away. But anyway, just have somebody, you're standing with literally royalty. I mean, he raced for 30 years. He basically announced every national event and divisional race. He was the head announcer.
Yeah.
For NHRA. The stories he's got, wow.
One thing I think is cool, little thing that you've been doing for at least, I don't know how many years now. Ever since I've been going to the ET finals, you've been guest announcing.
Oh, me and the crew out there. Yes.
Topeka.
Yeah.
Heartland Park.
Yep. Yeah.
And sucks that they closed down.
That was, place. Sometimes people don't make the best business decisions, I guess, in this world. I don't know. It's just sad that I had to go away. That was a premier track.
I love that place.
Oh, my God. I mean, the Division 5 finals, we went out to Odessa last year.
Flying H.
Flying H. Too. That was nice. I always tell people, I said, you walk into it as an announcer, and even in time trials or first round, you're just going to announce 500 of your best friends right there. You got 500 racers in front of you.
Yeah.
And names are just popping up. Obviously, it gets a little less toward the end. But I don't know if we started a tradition or not, but it kind of works. Sarah, NHRA Sarah, Topeka Sarah, Heartland Park Sarah, she always comes up last round, and we get to do the last round and call it. And it's just a hoot. But that is a total honor. Each track has their own announcers, and they come up, and we all take a piece at it, and it's like, man, what a race.
So
it's huge.
This year, the finals are at Tri-State in
Earlville, Iowa.
So are you wanting to go?
I've already got it planned.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's 900 miles from my house. But here's the thing. I told the daughter, I said, Tri-State, and I actually raced at Tri-State the first year they opened it, brand new track. I did good, got some money out of the place, and it was a beautiful little track. Well, it don't have lights.
Right.
And I think it's for sale too. Am I correct on that? I think I think it might be for sale.
I'm not sure.
But I know it don't have any lights. Okay.
I know management changed a couple years ago, but I'm not sure that it's for sale.
The aggregate guy that originally built it, I don't remember his name, but when I did have an opportunity to get some money out of him, he came over with a golf cart. I had no idea who the heck I was talking to.
Right.
I just talked to anybody, literally. Anyway, he comes up golf cart. And I said, well, I got some money. I got to go to the tower and get it. He says, hang on, I'll go get it for you. So he drives up to the tower and comes back with cash. And I'm like, it was the owner, Donnie.
Right.
He's the owner. I was like, holy crap. Then he told me about that drag strip. Monolithic pour. They got up in the morning, early dark, poured that track, quarter mile, monolithic pour, one day. He had the aggregate coming in. Man, that thing was like jet smooth. Oh, yeah. It was nice.
I haven't raced there. Been
it's in a cornfield.
I'd like to go.
No, you can get this fall. You can go there. Mm-hmm. Well, the thing of it is I'm going to turn it into a vacation because my daughter, the racetrack is Earlville, Iowa, Tri-State.
Right.
Which, by the way, Tri-State's got a whole cheering. I get them people just going. They got a whole cheering section when they get to Division 5. So it'll be bad this year.
Yeah.
And we kind of pick on them a little bit. But anyway, that's Earlville, Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my oldest daughter, Michelle, she lives in Earlville, Illinois. So right outside that track is US 20. Mm-hmm. That was before the interstates, US 20. Mm-hmm. If you stay on Interstate 20, go over to Illinois and go just a little ways. I was born and raised a mile north of that road. Now, my oldest daughter, she lives in Earlville, Illinois. Mm-hmm. So we'll go visit her on the way home. So we'll loop down and then turn into a vacation. Yeah.
That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that'll make it a good trip for you.
Yes.
I'm a little concerned. I don't know what kind of team we're going to see wanting to go.
It's a long drive.
I think, we're halfway through our points series
we are.
now. We've got 4 more races, 2 of them coming up next weekend, July 5th and 6th. I think, that'll be a good time to start talking to some people and seeing if they're planning on going or what.
I can see if they want to go. Now, here's our opportunity because this year, Vandermeer cannot take a team.
Right.
That's just the way it is. Topeka can't. Great Bend can't either.
Right.
So now we've got racers from Great Bend racing with us. The Sutherlands, they're racing with us. Right. And we've got a bunch of really good racers out of Vandermeer racing with us.
Right.
So they're going to want to make the team. My hope and goal would be is that we get enough interest and we'd be able to do it. Wouldn't it be kind of cool if we had an A and B team?
Yeah, that would be cool.
I mean, we got room.
Since I've been there, it'd be the first time. I mean, we've come close. A couple of years ago, we came close to having a full team, but it'd be cool to have at least a full team and some on
another. A B team. That'd be kind of cool. But that's coming. Mm-hmm. And Earlville, I can't remember. It's 20 miles, 30 miles from Mississippi River. You're almost out of Iowa.
Right.
And you're up in the northeast corner of Iowa, as far as you can go in the division.
Right.
And but the light thing does bother me a little. Now, I suppose they could bring in portable lighting, right?
Right, if they needed to.
Yeah.
I think Nick's got a plan. Nick Duty, the division director, Division 5.
I like that guy, by the way.
I like him too. He's cool.
Yeah.
I really, Rob Parks, those are big shoes to fill, but Nick's doing a good job.
Yep.
Rob was always, and still is, he was at the managers meeting, still very good to me, him and Bob Blackwell both.
Bob's retired. Mm-hmm. There was a pillar right there.
Oh, yeah.
Bob Blackwell he had a database. It was deep.
And Rob Sylvie, who's now the Division 5 tech director, he's a great guy too, and very passionate about the sport and his job and his role. And, he's always sending out updates and trying to dial in the rule book a little better, make things, a little more clear. And, thanks to him is the reason I'm doing chassis search too. He hooked me up with Lonnie Grimm, and I think Division 5 has a solid, team of directors for sure.
The only thing wrong with Division 5 is technically we don't have a lot of people in Division 5. If you look at it, we got a lot of cornfields and wheat fields, but we don't have a lot of people.
Right.
It's like you get to the East Coast, West Coast. I mean, there's 50 million people out there.
Yeah.
We got a lot of cornfields and open space in ours, but cool racing. Like I said, when you go into a place for a race, an ET finals, and there's 500 racers there, and you got to herd them through, it's great.
So we're about I guess we're close to being halfway through this.
We're done with
50th year too, as far as
July.
We're going into July now. So
August,
we'll have
September,
July,
October.
August, September. We got about 4 months.
Yeah, we're halfway through, kind of.
We're getting close to being halfway through.
Yeah, we haven't peaked yet, though.
Nah.
The good stuff's coming now.
And we do what we do with a pretty small team. We lost a couple people. Rory this past weekend was his last
I miss him.
weekend. To me, he's probably the best water box guy. He's just so
He's kind of just quiet and does his thing.
yeah, with his arms swinging and stuff.
Looks like a bird taking off.
And then he also was doing the finish line camera for Steel City, so
That was great.
he moved to be closer to his sister and help her. So, and then we're going to see what next year brings for me with the track. I don't know what that's going to be quite yet. It's going to be a tough deal. I'd like to stay involved as much as I possibly can, but, I may need to recruit some help with a couple programs. I've been talking to a couple gentlemen about maybe helping me with the point series or something,
Yep.
It's not that I have anything against points racing or the point series, or I love all the racers that come to Pueblo Motorsports Park. Not all of them love me, but
You're never going to be able to please everybody. Trust me. You ain't going to do it. End of the day, they like it.
I feel like, with the right help, we could make the points program better. The wrong help would make it worse.
Yep.
There's a lot of people who probably would be, I'll help. But if they did it for the wrong reasons, then it wouldn't really be a help, right?
We don't want to go backward.
So, but if it was, there's going to be some weekends next year that I might want to go race out of town. My truck will be done anytime now. We just got some transmission stuff going on, and Aaron, the transmission builder, is in the hospital and is going to have some recovery time. So we're looking for a plan B just to make sure that we can make some passes this year. And, Matt Frost is doing the Rocky Mountain Race weekend, which is exclusive to Pueblo in September, and I really want to participate.
What are those dates, by the way?
It's the first full weekend of September.
And where are they going to go to?
One of the cruises is going to be the Royal Gorge Bridge, which is going to be cool to see.
Nice.
300 hot rods driving over the Royal Gorge Bridge.
Which tracks this year?
So for that event, it's just Pueblo.
Sweet.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it's a smaller deal, just a weekend, a 3-day weekend deal that he's putting on.
But cruises.
Yeah, every day. About 150-mile cruise.
That's nice.
Per day.
Oh, Royal Gorge Bridge.
And then race. He did a sign up before Mega Week, and then he closed it, and now he's going to open it again, and I think it'll fill up. I think it's going to be a great weekend. It's a good time of year to race in Pueblo for sure.
Let me tell you, few people are going to watch this podcast. If you want to see quite the race, in the past, they just said 150 miles a day. So you do that, that's 450 miles, any way you look at it. These are full-on 9-second race cars. They got to make this cruise. Yeah. And it's like, in the past, it's been like a 1,200-mile drag race. Mm-hmm. You drag race, you qualify. Do your best you can. Then you go to another place and do it. In this case, we're going to go from Pueblo to World Gorge, wherever, come back the next day and try to do the best again.
Yep.
And not break your stuff in the past, because you can't just have unlimited parts.
Right.
You got to have them with you.
Yep.
And you got to go through checkpoints. It is the coolest concept you've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, they get out there and just go through these little towns and stuff like that, and you see these little kids out there. Hey, that's pretty cool.
And what's cool is when Matt first started Rocky Mountain Race Week, it was a regular event every year that came through Pueblo.
Yes.
The landscape changed a little bit with Great Bend closing and then Bandamere closing. So
we lost tracks.
If Great Bend gets back up and running, hopefully next year would be cool. I believe Matt's intention is to bring Rocky Mountain Race Week back to Pueblo Motorsports Park, Great Bend, and Kearney, and then
that'd be sweet. Kearney's a long way away.
Word on the street is, Bandamere at some point within the next year or two should have a new track out in Hudson, Colorado. So I'm sure that track would be included in Rocky Mountain Race Week and bring Rocky Mountain Race Week back to the Rocky Mountains, I think.
Yeah, that'd be cool because, you could go technically, if you started in Pueblo, if they did, you could go to Bandamere, Hudson, and then you go to Kearney.
Yeah.
That kind of keep it, because Kearney's way the heck and gone out and it's gone. I mean, you're in the middle of Nebraska and it ain't no little state east to west.
When I did Race Week in the white F-150 that we're talking about, the longest leg was Kearney to Bandamere.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Good road. Well, they took you back roads, but I've raced in Kearney before, and it's like, oh gosh,
I love Kearney.
It's like a 6 or 8 hour drive just to get to Kearney.
Yeah.
It's out there. It's an old B-29 bomber base.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was. Great Bend was. And back in the day, and I probably got a T-shirt, and I don't know where it's at, and I'd have to see what year it was. We had our Division 5 final at the old Scribner, Nebraska track. You drove down this road, this gravel roadish, kind of went up on a hill on the plateau, through these cornfields in Kansas, and lo and behold, on top of the hill, there was a drag strip.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, it was a little spooky. Way back.
So with us, it being the 50th year of Pueblo Motorsports Park, what do you think it's going to take to keep Pueblo Motorsports Park around for, let's say, another 50 years? What's
marketing? Marketing. You got to put that product out there where somebody will buy it. Simple as that. We have to get the younger people in, because I'm not a young guy anymore.
Right.
I ain't going to make 75. I made 75 in years, but the 75th years, I'd be 100 and some. They can wheel me in there. I probably wouldn't remember it anyway, but they can just wheel me in there. I'll be making spitballs or something.
Right.
Drooling, hey, man. But anyway, we got to get out there to the young people with these cars and get them off the street. Now, they got some high performance stuff on them, a lot of little cars. Even I'm intrigued by EVs.
Oh, yeah.
I think we need to have an EV class. Them things are brutal. They go. But we've got to move. EV's a fad. It's gonna die like an elm tree.
Right.
Simple as that. Hydrogen fuel cell. I said it here first. Mark this on this thing. Hydrogen fuel cell. You guys at Ford, build it.
Right.
They shall come. And we got to get the young people involved.
I agree.
Starting in high school, starting in the junior dragster program.
Mm-hmm.
Junior Street was a great idea.
I love Junior Street. They're having fun. They're all having fun. It's cool.
I am just waiting, and I kind of made an off-color joke about it the other day out there in the pits, and we got a chuckle out of it. I am waiting for the day that Phoenix Richardson wins a race.
Yeah.
There's going to be a party then.
For sure.
Yeah, Grandpa's just sitting there. Yeah. I made someone called off-color joke about the other night.
That's
Phoenix
funny.
says something, and I said, "Didn't your grandpa teach you anything?" It was funny.
He probably wasn't happy.
Nah, he was laughing. It was.
He'll get there.
Yeah, I told him, just cut a light, kill him.
Yeah.
But, the first night we had him, we had 10.
Yeah.
That outdid high school.
And I'm going to let them run again. It won't be a points race, but at all of the Rocky Mountain Streetcar Series races, I'm going to have a high school class. It'll be bracket racing and Junior Street. So if any of the kids want to come and race like they did this past Friday night because it seemed like a lot of them enjoyed being there because they got to watch everybody else race, some cars that they don't see on a regular Friday night, and then they got to participate as well and race themselves. So, why not? It just won't be a points race because then I don't want anybody that can't make it to that.
Practice.
Right, practice for sure.
That makes perfect.
I don't want a racer, like a high school racer or a junior street that can't make it to be penalized points-wise since we're adding it now, But
that's our future. Junior dragster's always been pretty healthy.
Yeah.
But junior street seems to show some interest. Now they're in a big car. Yeah. And high school's high school. Right. Them are the classes we need to tutor, to grow. They'll go in to say they'll jump out of there, maybe go to sportsman. They might even go to pro, super pro, depending what they are. They got to get a license, whatever. Yeah. That's our future. Those kids that are this tall, 5 years old. Yeah. That's the future of NHRA right there. Absolutely. Future drag racing.
You just got to keep another 50 years, keep them interested. And
there'll be cars here 50 years from now. They might look a little different, but there's still going to be cars. I mean, it's just kind of a cool thing. I do want to make a shameless plug there.
What's that?
Junior Dragsters, JDRL League. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting here on this camera. I'm looking right at that camera, and I'm going to tell you that I promised you, and I am going to do it. It's getting done. I am going to have trophies for you winners and runners-up. All of you. There's 42 of them being made as I speak. Yeah. I'm going back to the first race. I'm going to
that's awesome,
give everybody. I had enough wood in my garage to cut into chunks.
We need to do something for them.
Yes,
for sure.
It's important.
And I appreciate you, and I know that the kids will appreciate you.
I had nothing better to do that day. I just was cutting a whole bunch of piano up.
The parents are going to be the parents, but the kids are going to appreciate it, So, I got a gift for you that I want to give you. And it's not anything that I purchased. It was something that was given to me at the managers meeting in Kansas City, Overland Park this year. And when I look at it, I think, oh, this is a pretty cool thing. But I think that it's something I think that I want you to have, because it's the 50th year of Pueblo Motorsports Park, which has been something that's been very important to you, that you've been bringing up to me for the last couple of years. Hey, we just need to make the 50th year as drama-free as possible. And, and I'm pretty happy with the schedule overall that we have. We have to work with the road course. We share the surface with a 2.2-mile road course.
Which is a good thing.
It is, and they're active,
They're out there today.
But, we've got 8, we've got 8 points races, a Wally race. We got 4 of the Rocky Mountain Streetcar Series. We got the Steel City No Prep. We got Friday Night Drags, Junior Street program growing. All of that is I think
the imports too.
The imports too. We got them coming back. Josh Herman is putting on another Steel City Bracket Bash.
That was a hoot.
So that's going to be a
that
good
was a big
time.
race. That was a big race.
But next year is the 75th anniversary of the NHRA. So because I know how important those kinds of things are to you, I would rather you have this than myself. So at the managers meeting, these are going to be something they're going to be giving out next year.
Uh-huh.
And so I've had it, and it's just been sitting at my house, and I think it's a pretty cool thing, but I want you to have it, Larry, for real.
Well, thank you. 1951 2026 anniversary. So 75 years. Oh my God. Dude. I just won the Super Bowl. Whoa. You got to see this. I won't be able to wear this. There's no way in hell I will wear it. Excuse me. But
that's what they're going to give the champions next year.
Look at that. Can we zoom in on that bad boy? Yeah. Look at that. Oh my God, Donnie. That is a thing of beauty. Wait a minute. Yo, John Force. Bling, bling. Holy cow, that thing is heavy.
So look at the sides. It's got the sponsor Mission Foods on one side, and then a silhouette of Wally Parks, and it says Wally on the other side.
That ain't Wally Parks.
Well,
come on.
You know what I mean? But it says Wally Parks.
Yeah. Hey, you know better than
I
that.
know, I know.
That's Jack Jones.
Wally Trophy
Wally
Jack
Trophy.
Jones.
Jack Jones Mission. I tried to get a bunch of free chips out of him when I was up there at the Nationals and was too successful at. I thought they could give me some tortillas, but nah. My God, man, thank you.
Absolutely.
Do you realize that is that a real diamond?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, my God.
I don't know.
Oh, man, where is Erica Enders? I could say, hey, girlfriend.
Right.
She got 6 of them damn things. 6, excuse me, 6.
Yeah.
That'd be like 6. Don't put that finger up.
Yeah.
6. Wow. Thank you. Wow.
You know, I know you're a souvenir type guy.
Whoa, yeah. Am I? Jesus, I got to wear this to the track.
So right now there's only a handful of people who have one of those, but next year they'll be giving them out champions for their 75th year.
I better watch out for the ladies now.
But I think that, you know, for what you do for Pueblo Motorsports Park, you're a champion for the racers that race with us. So I think if we had a championship ring, you'd be one of the first ones to get it.
You know, and it fits. It fits.
Pretty cool.
I just don't know which way. I'm going with me looking at it, not everybody else. I'm just going to stare at 75 years. That thing is gaudy. It is cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't know if I can do this.
What? You can take it off and...
Hang on a second.
All right. Go ahead.
We're talking about years, okay? We're talking about years. I gotta show a couple of things here. Let's see. All right, we're going to do it. We're going to do it this way. Now, Donnie's had these made, and these things are just way cool. You know, if you haven't purchased your 50th anniversary T-shirt and/or crew neck hoodie and/or hat, you need to get it. Now, look at that bad boy right there. Look at that, okay? And the front has the logo on it, a way cool logo. That's the 50th anniversary. Well, let me show you something that I personally pulled out of the closet at home. I'm going to start out this way. This was the year 2000 Pueblo Motorsports Park Division 5 team. Look what it says on the back. 25-year anniversary. So I have 2 of them. And I have one other T-shirt here. One of the years the Division 5 was at Bandimere.
Right.
So we had a lot of people who went. So I said, okay, I'm going to race for SCRA. You know, I'm going to Great Bend to race for them.
Right. Sunflower
Custom Rod. And I have a T-shirt from them that I raced, and that would have been 2003. 2003. What's kind of cool about this, and I hope you can see it, look in the center of that logo, 1955. Mm-hmm. Wally Parks decided in 1955 that he wanted to have a national NHRA race, the first national NHRA race in the middle of the country, Great Bend, Kansas.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And when you used to race there, the original mock-up of the announcer stand or the scoring stand with the mobile horse on it, they had a mock-up of it there. It was just throw you back. 55, that was 1955.
Yeah.
Unbelievable the changes that's happened since 1955. And I wanted to give a plug. To the import racers.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard me when when we had the import racers. We had five racers in the quarter mile, and his name's right up there. Yeah. In 1975, Bob Glidden, world champion. Yeah, he was just great. We had 5 cars racing at Pueblo Motorsports Park at just a little less than a mile high that was faster than that Pro Stock car was in 75.
Right.
They were faster with ET. They were faster with speed, both. It was amazing to see it because I had to go back and I said, I'm going to check this out.
Right.
That's 50 years ago. Things have changed.
Absolutely.
It's just insane. I'm going back to this. Thank you. Wow. That's just too cool.
Yeah.
I'll be afraid to wear it. Might get mugged in Pueblo. Might get, hey, won't you pling? Take that down to the pawn shop. Yeah.
Right.
Way cool. I'll wear that at Division 5. I'm telling you right now, I'll have that on.
Do it.
I don't know if I'll be able to, my hand won't be able to, like.
Yeah, it'd be a little weight on you.
But yeah, that's, going back a little bit, to do what I do at Pueblo Motorsports Park is just a total honor. I mean, it's a dream. My daughter always tells me it's a natural job for you.
Right.
Because you got the gift of gab. My mother always told me I talk too much anyway, but said the same thing in high school, but it's paid off.
Right.
Absolutely. This is my payback for the racing years.
Well, everybody that races there loves you. And like I say, I know I can give you a hard time. Dave can give you a hard time sometimes.
Pooh Bear?
But, we all love you. And like I say, I wouldn't still be there if it wasn't for you and Dave, man.
Well, it works. I mean, it works. Dave can be a little grumpy, but he's technical. He makes things, he fixes things. He doesn't like to, sometimes be bothered, but he has got a lot of stuff on his plate.
Absolutely. One thing about Dave and you and myself is we share a love for Pueblo Motorsports Park that
it's like home.
Yeah.
One of the things I didn't say, I mentioned earlier about coming to Pueblo Motorsports Park for the first time and just kind of an open atmosphere, relaxed. It's really a family.
Absolutely.
It's an absolute big family. You get down there, and I'm going to use Josh Herman as an example.
Mm-hmm.
When I first came to Pueblo Motorsports Park, I believe he was already racing. He was a tiny little guy. He's not that big anymore yet, but now he's married with a child.
Yeah.
It's like, where did them years go?
Yep.
I mean, I know racers down there that I watch their children grow up, and they have children. I've seen 3 generations at that track. That's a family. I mean,
Definitely.
and when we had, let's see, was it Saturday? It was Saturday of our last race.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Chioda was having all kinds of problems, tons of problems. The family went over to his trailer, and they worked on that car for 8 hours straight.
Right.
It was just the best super pro racers there was. They was all trying to figure out this car, which ended up, well, they probably didn't figure it out.
Probably by now he has. But
yeah, it was a mystery. They took everything apart. But there again, everybody pitched in. The family said, he's in trouble. Get in there and get going. Yeah. And it's, if you need help down there, you don't have to be bashful. Just say it, and they'll help you. But it's way cool.
Yeah.
It's way cool to do this job.
Well, Larry, I appreciate you coming on the show and, spending some time with me and giving people a glimpse into, your racing history and how you became the announcer of Pueblo Motorsports Park.
Keeps me young.
I enjoy working with you at the track, and I enjoy sharing that passion for our racers and for the track. We've come a long ways in just the time that I've been there. And, I just hope that the track continues to grow. And it would be great that it sees another 50 years for those families that you're talking about to see some more generations racing here in Southern Colorado. And, but again, I appreciate you coming on. I guess we're going to wrap up.
Well, I do have one more question.
What's that?
I mean, you're talking about the future. Talk about the new contract, please.
So, from what I understand, what I've been told is that South Prairie and O'Neill, NASA Rocky Mountain, has signed a 25-year contract with the track, with the city. That's what I've been told. So,
that's a long-term contract.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
I think that'll be a positive. There's, some improvements that probably will start happening now that, there's an opportunity to have a long enough contract to hopefully earn back the money that you invest. So I think that Dan Williams and NASA Rocky Mountain are going to do the best they can to improve the infrastructure of the facility because, the family vibe is there. The passion from the staff that we have is definitely there. The passion from the racers are there, but the infrastructure, has not changed much since 1975.
No. There's a few pieces out there that are pretty much original. Mm-hmm. And it needs a facelifting. But you know what? It's solid.
Yeah.
It's out. It's not going to be encroached on by humans other than the people in jail, which I guess they got a good view of what we're going to do up there. But it's set aside as recreational, that piece of land. It's been there forever. And there's no reason why it couldn't grow because the 2.2-mile road course is very unique for this state.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't it the longest?
Or
second longest?
100% sure.
The one out in Watkins, maybe?
High Plains.
High Plains?
I think it's about the same, maybe.
That's a big road course.
Yeah.
It's good and technical from what I understand.
Yeah.
I've driven around it, but I've never raced around it. But
nice facility.
Yeah, it's very nice.
So, yeah, Larry, I appreciate you coming on, spending some time with me and letting everybody, take a look into your history as a racer and how you became our announcer. And I look forward to the rest of the season with you and see what next season looks like. I appreciate you, and I know all the racers do. And I just want to say thank you to Alpine Ford for letting us use my office here to film these shows. Definitely appreciate the management team and all the sales associates here and their support, as well as the ownership. If you're in the market for a vehicle, like I said at the beginning, we're at 2028 West Highway 50 in Pueblo, Colorado. Come see us. Larry, I love you, man. I appreciate you.
Oh, by the way, I'm a Ford stock owner.
Are you?
Yeah. I thank you for having me here. Man, what a great time. I've been looking forward to this. I hope the rest of the world appreciates it. Put it that way.
I'm sure.
Thank you, Donnie.
Thank you, Larry.
Bye. Oh, that